Good morning, it's Karen, and these are my quick reviews of the books that I finished in October. I was able to read 7 books in October. 3 of them were audiobooks, the rest were all physical, and one of them was a reread. The first one that I finished was the 4th book in the Thursday Murder Club series, and that is The Last Devil to Die. I was highly anticipating this one. I was looking so forward to this, and it came in October, and I had to read it right away. And I will say, this is one of my favorite series. I absolutely love it. The characters in this are just, they draw you in. They feel like your friends. They feel like somebody that you know. This is a group of retirees, old age pensioners that somehow find their way into all of these murder mysteries. The thing that I like about having older people as characters is that they've had a full life behind them. So they have backgrounds and backstories that are so full. It's so refreshing to read somebody who is 70 years old who has lived 70 years of exciting experiences. The best part that I enjoyed out of this book was all of the interactions between the characters. Joyce is my favorite. I love her to bits. There were some heartwarming parts, there was some really devastating things to read. And ultimately, that was my favorite part. The mystery, on the other hand, I found a little bit too convoluted. For a cozy mystery, it just felt like it was like, and this, and this, and this, and this, and then this person, and it just got too much. For that, I gave it 3 stars. The next book that I read for the Aurelium Challenge. I needed to read a dark academia. Dark academia is not really my thing. It's not. I found this so difficult to find something. I watched so many recommendation videos, and the books that I wanted to read were all unavailable. So I kind of had to go with what was available, and so this was one of them, and I just went with it, and that is They Never Learn. This was a gripping story. This was absolutely gripping. I could not put it down. There were 2 timelines. There was a professor, a woman who is just trying to succeed. She is very like boss woman, very driven, and we also find out that she is a serial killer, and she's basically offing all of the men that she determines to be foul human beings. The second person that we follow is this sort of mousy girl whose first year it is coming to the school, and she's encountering these gorgeous, charismatic people, and she's sort of learning what it's like to be herself. She's coming into her own. She's figuring out who she is as a person. I gave this book 4 stars because it was so gripping and it was so readable, and it kind of kept me on the edge, and a few of the twists surprised me. That was fantastic. I just realized vigilanteism is not really for me. I understand the appeal, but where I'm at personally and morally, I cannot celebrate someone going out there and doing the job themselves. So I gave this one 4 stars. My next read I picked up, it's a series that I'm in the middle of. I'm not necessarily married to this series, and yet I keep reading it because there's something about October that makes me want to read it, and whenever I want to read something spooky, I go to this, and that is the Lockwood and Co. series, the 3rd book, The Hollow Boy. I listened to this one on audiobook. This is a wild series. This is like modern times, but feels Victorian. So whenever they like pull out phones and stuff, it like throws me off. But this is a world where something has gone wrong and there are ghosts. And these ghosts are not always the nicest. and they sort of inhabit certain spaces, and there's like the poltergeists and the angry spirits. And in this world, only children are really susceptible and can interact with these ghost beings. So as soon as you turn 18, for some reason, that's the cutoff. You just can't communicate with them anymore. So Lockwood and Co. is a group of 3 who are kind of like ghost hunters, but they're seeking the ghosts to banish them and sort of clear people's houses or spaces or whatever. They're trying to get to the bottom of why this ghost is here. There are scenes in this that are truly terrifying. Like, I could not sleep because of a couple of them. But ultimately, I don't know, there was something about this one that was just lacking for me. I don't know if it was too long or if certain things were just drawn out. Everything is so exciting. It's so wonderfully told, and it just is gripping. It's so spooky. It's perfect for October. I could only give this 3 stars because it was just missing something, and I don't know what. The next book is just going crazy right now, and that is None of This Is True. This is very popular right now, and I can see why. It wasn't necessarily my type of book. I'm trying to find my kind of thriller mystery, and this one just wasn't it. This is a story, it's a podcast, which is one of my favorite things to do, like read. Originally, I was going to read this, but then when I started reading it, I realized it had a podcast element. So I decided to switch to audiobook because this had a full cast, and the audiobook was just like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So if you really like books with a podcast element, try this audiobook. It was fabulous, like really great. This follows 2 women. They are birthday twins. They have been born on the same birthday, and that's basically the only connection that they have. That's the only reason why they're brought together. And I don't really want to go too much into it because it's already way overblown and talked about. The reason why I'm just not into it is I think I just don't like domestic dissatisfaction. I don't like books where the women are just like, oh, my husband's so like blah and he's mediocre and he just isn't doing the thing. And I get it. Like, you've been in a marriage for like 10 years, 15 years, and you feel a little bit of a drag. Like, I get it. I don't like reading it. It's not happy. And there's a lot going on in this book. There's a lot to unpack, and I'm just not going to because this was a 3-star for me and I can't give it any more. This is definitely going to be a Goodreads pick, and this probably will win it, but for me, didn't do it. Wow, this one was a surprise. That is Present Over Perfect. This is a very, very short book. I devoured it in a couple of days. I did listen to this on audiobook. The author reads it. This is a self-help book, and I don't normally read self-help books, but I do like books that make me question things and just inspire different thought processes. This one absolutely did that. So it's about the author and how she basically reaches a burnt out point and she just can't carry on. She's not enjoying life. She's lost joy. She doesn't know how to get it back. She's got a husband and kids and she wants to be enjoying things, but she just is done. She's done. Like, she can't even enjoy the smallest pleasures. And that's exactly what this book is about. It's about how to get yourself out of that dark hole and into the present and stop trying to be the person that you think everybody else wants you to be and be the person that your kids need you to be, that your husband needs you to be, that you need yourself to be in order to put joy back in your life. This was a 5-star for me. It was surprising, it was lovely, it was inspiring, and I think she did a really good job of putting everything together and bringing lots of different elements of storytelling. It was absolutely wonderful. The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury is my yearly reread. I think I've read this now 3 or 4 years in a row. I think 3 years. It's like a teeny tiny book, 445 pages. It's so short. But there's something about Bradbury's writing that just, it's poetic, but it's accurate. And there's like the nature that he encapsulates and the way that he writes boys is so accurate. It's so accurate that I absolutely love this story. I always liken it to A Christmas Carol, but for Halloween. Basically, it tells the story of these like 8 boys who are searching for their friend Pipkin, and they travel through time. It's very like fantastical. They travel through time and learn all of the different origins of Halloween, mummies, gargoyles, the Day of the Dead. They learn about witches. They learn about Samhain. Like it's so cool, and I absolutely love it, and I love rereading it every year. 5 stars, hands down. The last book I read purely because the Literally Dead book club is reading this one. This was the one that won our November read, and that is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I picked this one up because I liked In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and I really liked her writing, and I thought, okay, I'll try this one. First off, there's a moon on the cover. Second, it was gothic and set in the South. So all the things that just draw me in, like those are all the things that I really want to read. This is a tough one because I can see where this one is very divisive. The ending, especially, but the content as well. So it's about this girl who's a preacher's daughter, and he's a very like fire and brimstone preacher. So very traditional, like does the whole holds up snakes, and if God is protecting you, you don't get bitten by the snakes. Like we're talking that kind of religion. It's the very extreme side of Christianity for sure. She grows up in this really tough household, and she also grows up in this very small town where everybody's connected, and she kind of sees the world very filtered. And she makes friends with this boy that her father doesn't want her to. So she discovers the book Twilight, and this is her like awakening to the world, the idea of love, this very idealized form, but also the like the bad boy. I want the bad boy to take me out of my life. And I think she ends up projecting that onto her friend, and he becomes kind of her Edward, and she subconsciously wants him to take her away, but for some reason she feels stuck. This is told in a series of different points in her life. So it's like present day, and then when she's 10, and then when she's 15, and when she's 12, and when it's present day, and it just goes back and forth and back and forth. I wasn't sure if I needed to pay attention to when exactly these happen, but it didn't really seem to bother the storyline. The thing that really sold this one to me was at the back of the book there is an interview with the author, and she is articulate and really laid out that she wanted to write a story where characters were morally gray. Nobody's got the right idea about justice unless you frame it in this way. And she wants people to think about morality. She wants people to think about who delivers justice. She wants people to think about that and think like, do I agree with this person, or do I agree with this person, or why do I disagree so strongly with this person's choices? And I think with that addition of her conversation, this book goes so much more deeply. But I think it is important to ponder why certain people feel like they can control the narrative of punishment and justice. Because vigilantism is not my favorite thing, but this book read so well. This was another 4 stars for me. I would highly recommend this to people, and I really truly cannot wait for the book discussion. And that's it. Those were all the books that I managed to read. I think I did pretty well. Like, it felt a little mediocre, but then I ended on a high note. So, choice, choice month. My name is Karen. I'm the book Libronaut. I love exploring all different types of books. You're here for the ride, and I hope you continue joining. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye. I think I need to do a deeper review of this one because I have a lot of thoughts.